Hey, you guys. Happy New Year to all. Can you believe it? I'm giving you guys 2 stories in 2 days. This one is straight out of Clearwater, Florida. Whoop, whoop. #1 beach. I don't know when it was and how many times it was, but we were #1 beach. Well, now we're about to be #1 for a murder story. So buckle up, buttercup. It's story time with Auntie Cuckoo. Choo choo. That was from the last video, right? Choo choo. You know what I'm talking about. All right, you guys, before we get started real quick, please don't forget to like, share, and of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Storytime with Auntie Cuckoo. Thank you. All right, let's do it. As usual, I will give you guys the rundown, key players, keep it as short and simple as possible. But this one takes place in Clearwater, Florida. Key player, we have Rebecca Fenton, and we have Larry Fenton. I'll give you a little rundown on Rebecca. Rebecca Fenton was born in 1967 in Tucson, Arizona. At 18 months, she was given up for adoption. She actually ended up growing up and, being very popular, well-liked, and very beautiful. She went to college in Boston, got a bachelor's degree in psychology, and then after she graduated, she went and visited a friend in Clearwater, Florida. While she was there, she absolutely fell in love with it. I want to say hi to the people that are watching. Thank you so much. I love you guys. But while she was there in Florida, she absolutely loved it, fell in love, ended up calling it home, and she's like, I ain't leaving. I'm here and I'm staying. Hi, Aunt Chris. Happy New Year. Anyways, focus, Sherilyn. Focus, Auntie Cuckoo. Anyways, she ended up falling in love with Florida, and she's like, this is where I'm going to be. I'm going to call it home. This is what it's at. So she ends up living in Florida. While she's living in Florida, like I had just mentioned, at 18 months, she was adopted. But while she was living in Florida, her biological mother had located her, reached out, and wanted to meet her and get to know her. So Rebecca Fenton, who was living in Clearwater, Florida at the time, decided to fly back to Arizona to meet her biological mom and her sisters, and everything went really well. They ended up having a great relationship where she traveled back and forth frequently, la-di-da-di-da, peaches and cream for now. So then, while she's living in Florida, when she was about 36 years old, living in Clearwater, Florida, in this little apartment. It was close to the beach, but this tiny little apartment. What up, Squatchy? Happy New Year. While she was living in this tiny little apartment on Clearwater Beach, she was big into working out at the gym and stuff. She ends up working out one day at the gym and meets this gentleman. Now, he is a medical equipment salesman. He actually ended up being one of the top sales representatives of all of America. He was professional. He was successful. He was 17 years her senior. So she was 36 at the time. I ain't going to do the math because we ain't got the time for that, huh? You guys got your toes ready? Just joking. Anywho, so meets him. Ends up that Larry Fenton, that's who this gentleman is that we're talking about. 17 years her senior. Enjoyed working out as well, very successful in the medical equipment sales, and he had been married 3 times and divorced 3 times, but they got to know each other. Like I said, they met at the gym, and it was like a whirlwind romance. Fell in love, and within 1 year of meeting each other, they were married. But not only did they got married on Clearwater Beach in a nice, beautiful ceremony. But Larry, being successful, and Rebecca just enjoying every second of it, had a second wedding in Arizona for her biological family that she had just finally met. If you weren't here for that part of the story, you'll have to catch up on it later. But anyways, so they had 2 weddings, a very simple and beautiful one on Clearwater Beach, and then a second wedding in Arizona with her biological family, which even Rebecca herself is stated saying, it was a fairy tale wedding, the big dress, the bling, the whole shebang. So she had that. Larry was like her knight in shining armor, absolutely spoiled her to the point that she no longer had to work at all. He took care of everything. After they got married, they bought a big house right there on Clearwater Beach. So she had it all. She didn't have to worry about anything. Well, wouldn't that be bliss, right? Well, as they say. So, about 4 years after they're married, things hit the fan. All of a sudden, there is a very dramatic and drastic change in things. Fast forward to Rebecca. It's a Super Bowl Sunday, and Rebecca is, like I said, they bought this big, beautiful house on Clearwater Beach. It had a, like, mother-in-law suite guest house, but they transformed into, like, their own personal built gym. They were both into working out and stuff and had the friggin' money, so why not? So, Super Bowl Sunday, Rebecca's out back in the guest house, working out, you know, getting buff, ripped, you know, whatever she's friggin' doing. She's all done, and she walks into the main home, walks in and finds Larry laying there on the floor in a huge puddle of blood. Rebecca claims that she checked his pulse and everything else, but as she was looking around, she saw that things were ransacked. What up, Quinn? Happy New Year. Anyways, things were ransacked. So, she says she was so scared after checking her husband's pulse, who was laying there in a pool of blood, that she grabbed her cell phone, ran outside, and jumped into her vehicle, where she called 911. So, she calls 911, and the police come. And she's like, oh my God, the house has been ransacked. My husband said I was working out in the gym. If you ever get a chance, listen to 911 call. I think it's 8 times she claims she's working out in the gym. Like, really? What about your husband bleeding to death in the friggin' foyer? But let's hear again. Where were you? Oh, you were working out, getting buff in the gym. Thank you, Rebecca. So, anywho, so 8 times she mentions in the recording that, you know, she's working out in the gym, whatever. The police come and they're investigating. And they're looking through the home, which looks ransacked. But comes to find out that what is missing is a jar of coins, Larry's iPad, Larry's Jeep Cherokee is missing. And I think that's all she reports at the time, after the house has been ransacked and we've got a man dead on the floor. A jar of change, an iPad, and his vehicle. So, the police obviously want to take her to the police station, question her, see what's going on. As they're questioning her, other cops are, you know, investigating and whatnot. Neighbors say that they heard 4 to 5 gunshots. As they're investigating, they see no signs of entry, like forced entry, into the home. The house, like I said, looked ransacked, but of all the things, you know, Rebecca was claiming was missing, you know, the jar of coins, whatnot, Larry's laying there dead with a wallet packed full of cash, like $100 bills, like checkbook laying on the counter, but the house has been ransacked and things were stolen. Come to find out, to top that off, I think it is a week after the murder that Larry, what up, Riley? Happy New Year, love. That a week later, the police find Larry's Jeep Cherokee that was stolen and missing 1 street over. Could you guys guess? What's in that vehicle, do you think? Oh, you guys are too good. That's right. The jar of friggin' coins, the iPad. Like, really? So someone busted in, stole everything, murdered your husband, stole the car and drove it around the street, and then left everything in it. Ooh, if only I could be that terrible of a criminal. So, back to the story, right? So, she's saying, you know, they stole everything, the house was ransacked, I don't know how this happened. So, the police are questioning her, and they ask, you know, does Larry have any enemies? Anything that, you know, would bring us to him being murdered? And she's like, no, Larry's fantastic. He's wonderful, which he friggin' is and was, should I say. He's friggin' an amazing man, it sounds like. I don't know him personally, but it sounds like he was awesome. She's like, no enemies. But what happened was one time I was at Publix. If you're from Florida, you know about a Publix. But anyways, I was at Publix, and when I came walking out of the store with my groceries, this random man ran up on me and started, like, asking me questions and pulling out my groceries and telling me how beautiful I am. I have a stalker. After that happened, I seen him jump into a black vehicle. I could have swore I seen a black vehicle driving through my neighborhood. So maybe the stalker came in and robbed us and murdered my husband. Maybe that's what happened, Rebecca. Most likely, that's probably what happened. Anyhow, so she tells that story. And she also mentions after that had happened, she had told Larry about this incident. This was a month before the murder happened. So Larry, being the devout husband he is, he goes out and buys a friggin' gun. He's like, I got you, babe. I'll take this down, dropping bows, you know, like, I got this. So he goes out and he buys a 38 Smith & Wesson revolver, hides it in their sock drawer. So the police now are hearing this in her story and are like, oh, shiznit, let's go see where this gun's at. They go back to the house, or they to whoever's at the house. Any gun there? No friggin' gun. It's missing. These are crazy criminals. So the gun's missing. So the police are, like I said, still searching, whatever. And, you know, when they do a crime scene, it's like up to X amount of feet or whatever. Well, in her friggin' driveway was her vehicle that she called 911 from. So that's part of the crime scene. So police search Rebecca's vehicle. As they are searching her car that is parked in the driveway of the home where her husband was murdered, they find a white plastic bag. Yeah, I friggin' said it. Can you guess what's in it? You'd think a videotape. I mean, she's the only one who didn't videotape it. But no, the friggin' 38 Smith & Wesson revolver, along with Larry's Jeep Cherokee keys, right there under her passenger seat. And the police are like, wait a second. As we're searching this vehicle, didn't she call 911 from this car? Yeah, she friggin' did. So they play the recording. They too. And they hear the recording where she's like, I'm so terrified that I ran out to my car. I'm sitting in my car right now calling 911. Like, is your husband breathing? She's like, I touched him, but I don't know. Yeah, you don't know. But they put the stuff in there, right? In her car. Anywho. So, whew, it's a lot, right? So the police, obviously, they find this, and now they're like, maybe we need to look more into Rebecca. So the police ask her to, you know, come back in and talk, and she absolutely refuses. She's like, call my lawyer, I'm done. I've given all I can. I've helped as much as I can for my husband. I'm done. Call my attorney. That style shit. Shiznit. So she does that. So the police start looking into her history, obviously, like, something ain't right with this lady. Between the gun and crap being found in her car, what's up? Start looking into her history. Turns out Rebecca, when she was in her 20s, was a high-end escort who got arrested for prostitution. She was also big into drugs and alcohol and some low-budget porn. That is until she met Larry, who saved her friggin' life, who rescued her, gave her a lifetime of opportunities on top of financial security, stability, and also convinced her to join AA. That comes into play. Please hold. So, while investigating, like I said, they find out that, you know, she has this history, but she's been going to AA. Well, they find out while she was at AA, she met a young man that she became very fond of. Should I say fond, or should I say she claimed she was in love with? She claimed she fell in love with him. So, like I said, this shit's crazy. You can't even make it up. It's redonkulous. So she meets this man at AA, and the neighbors claim that right after Larry died, this man starts literally like spending the night, staying there overnight. He's there all the time. So police start investigating him, obviously. Turns out, if you remember the beginning of the story, I told you it happened on Super Bowl Sunday. This man had a complete alibi. He was at a Super Bowl party. It could not be him. So who do we have left? Rebecca. So the police conclude that's all we have left is Rebecca. So they start looking into her more and more. And they suspect that it's Rebecca. Well, the gun that was found in the passenger seat in her car, ballistics comes back. It is the murder weapon. Who would have thunk it, right? It's like if I could do the Home Alone. Right? So that is the murder weapon. They find out that it's like, I don't even know where to, like, this blows my mind. Like, how could you plan a murder and not even be, like, idiots. Anyway, so yes, the murder weapon is in her car. They find the keys to Larry's Jeep in there. It is months and years, though, because even though they found the murder weapon, they could not put her finger on the trigger. So it was kind of like up in the air, you know, and the grand jury didn't want to call it on her, so they couldn't. So months pass, then years. Then Rebecca's home goes up in smoke. Turns out Rebecca was still living in this beautiful home that Larry had bought for them. And after he had died, she was fighting with Larry's family over the insurance money and the estates and everything else. She couldn't friggin' afford the home on her own. So as it's getting foreclosed, all of a sudden this home goes up in smoke. Poof, poof. That's so crazy. This lady has the worst luck ever. Went from like the best luck ever, from like Julia Roberts, Pretty Woman, getting saved by Richard Gere on the side of the street, to murder and arson. Like, her life just so crazy. So the home goes up in smoke. The police obviously now are investigating the arson. As they're investigating the arson, questions start coming up about the murder. As they're investigating the arson and the murder, questions come up together. They're doing some digging and investigating and realize 1 month before Larry's murder, there was a 911 call where Rebecca was requesting a restraining order on her ex, Carrie. So the popos are like, oh, hold up, wait. Maybe we need to talk to this mofo. So they do, and they start searching for Carrie. They're like, where's Carrie at? Anybody know this Carrie fool? Where do you guys think he's at? Take a guess. You're wrong. He's in friggin' county jail. They're like, access granted. Yeah, you may pass. Go and collect your $200. Thank you for being in county jail. So they go talking to Carrie, and Carrie's like, well, let me tell you. What had happened was, one time, Rebecca and I got in a fight, and she grabbed a friggin' knife, put it to my throat, and said, I'll kill you like I killed Larry. So, I mean, we're talking about somebody who's already in jail. What's his word good for, right? Well, it turns out that long before police ever came looking for him or anything, or before he'd gotten arrested and was in county jail, that he actually had told people after it happened. Like, the next day after he got a knife put to his throat, he was like, yo, you're not going to believe what Rebecca did last night. This biatch put a knife to my throat and said she's going to kill me. She said, I'll kill you like I did Larry. So long before police came, Rebecca's like, oh, he's trying to get off on a deal while he's in jail. No, long before police came looking, he had told people about what she had done. So, murder trial starts November 3rd, 2015, right? Yes, November 3rd, 2015. Let's lay out the facts, right? So, trial facts. 911 call made from the car in the driveway, Rebecca's car, where the gun that murdered Larry was found, along with the keys to the stolen Jeep that was 1 block away. Says that she checked his pulse, but the big pool of blood around him was never disturbed. Motive is very clear. It was money, the prenup, keeping the marital assets, and keeping as much as possible. If they would have gotten divorced, then she would have gotten $1,000 a month. If Larry were to die while they were married, she'd get $1 million. Do the math. I mean, I couldn't do 36 plus 17, but I could do 1,000 versus 1 million. I know that difference, right? Don't you? Come on. So, needless to say, like I said, the alimony would have only been $1,000. So the police believe that she's literally sitting there thinking, like, the clock is ticking. So, as the trial happens, her biological mother, remember I mentioned her before, they had reconnected, her biological mother testifies for the prosecution and states that Rebecca had told her, I've met a man, a younger man, younger than her, not even just younger than Larry, but younger than even Rebecca, in AA, and I'm falling in love, and we've got this thing going on, and I think Larry's found out. To top it off, I think he's going to divorce me. So she'd already friggin' said it. So to me, that's planning, right? Premeditation. She knew what's up. Anywho, I'm telling you, it's a lot. So the ex-boyfriend, Carrie, like I said, he also testifies and says, she put a knife to my throat, said she was going to kill me like she killed Larry. They had checked everything, and she had told, Carrie had told other people before even getting arrested about her putting that knife to his throat and stuff. So jury believed her. Or believed him, should I say. Sorry. So then we come down to the defense. Here's the defense's claims. They claim that it was a home invasion, robbery gone wrong, which ended in murder. She also claims that when her house was torched months later in arson, that the people who killed her husband came back to kill her too. I mean, they didn't steal anything the first time. She had no clue who they were, but apparently they came back to murder her too. So she claims that. Rebecca actually went ahead and like rolled the dice and was like, I got faith in the system. I was going to believe I'm a liar, pants on fire, and I'm not going to testify, and this jury's got me. Well, she was right. They got her all right. I think it was 2 hours. The jury came back with a verdict of guilty, first-degree murder, sentence of life in the state of Florida. Life is life. Life. That's it. Coming out in a pine box, Rebecca. But I do want to share this with you guys. So that's the end of the story, pretty much. But I want to share these last couple of tidbits that I have highlighted in my notes. That, one, if you check out Rebecca Fenton, she still to this day is like boo-hooing and crying how she's innocent and this and that. I'm going to give you guys her quote right before we're done. But, you know, the state of Florida also, the other thing I want to tell you guys is that the state of Florida never pursued the arson charges on her for the simple fact that one is more money to do the trial and, you know, prosecuting her for it when she was already serving life. And like I said, life in Florida is life. So, if you watch the interviews with sweet, wonderful, and very lucky and blessed Rebecca Fenton, you'll hear how grateful she is for her time with Larry, and you will hear her state how much she loves and misses him by statements just like this. And I'll read it because I want to quote her correctly. I can't believe anyone would think that I am even spiritually capable to commit this crime. Might I add, he was my meal ticket. Tear, right? Who says that? Anyways, you guys, that's it. Another murder story with yours truly, Auntie Cuckoo. Thank you guys so much for checking in with me. If you watch this story, I'm going to do something different than Shiznit, because a couple of you guys, you did it, and I appreciate it. You watched it. But if you actually watch my video, can you send me a thumbs up? Not just liking my video, which I'll take absolutely, but just a thumbs up in the comments so I know that you saw and watched it. If you have any requests, have any questions, it doesn't have to be a murder story. You heard a story about me and you want me to tell you about it? I'll tell you if I can remember it. Anyways, Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you so much for your time and your support. Be safe, be kind, do good things, and make this year count. Love yas. Check it.